Imagine waking up in a time where no one handed you a house on a silver platter. No realtor, no blueprint, no contractor to call. Your shelter? You had to build it with your own two hands, using nothing but raw timber, mud, and the sweat of your brow. This was life for medieval peasants. There was no weekend project or quick renovation. Building a home meant survival itself. It meant grappling with nature's elements, obeying the whims of powerful lords, battling hunger, weather, and wildlife. It was grueling, dangerous, and demanding. Yet these men and women crafted shelters that withstood centuries, homes made from earth, wood, dung, and determination. Today, we're peeling back the layers of history to explore exactly how medieval peasants built their houses from scratch. It's a story of community, resourcefulness, and the will to survive against all odds. Stick with me, because what you'll discover might just reshape how you think about the word home. Most medieval peasants didn't own the land beneath their feet. Nearly all territory was claimed by powerful lords or the church, leaving peasants to carve out space on the edges, forest clearings, riverbanks, or marshy fields that no one else wanted. Choosing a home site wasn't about aesthetics, it was about survival. Proximity to fresh water, timber for building and firewood, and soil firm enough not to flood. Sometimes, peasants risked fines or worse by clearing forbidden forest patches to build their humble dwellings, hoping their labor would earn them a permanent place. Personal insight. The peasant's choice of location was a strategic gamble. It reminds me of how modern urban settlers push into marginal lands for opportunity, risking regulation and hardship, yet building community in the process. Timber was king, but fetching it wasn't as simple as swinging an axe. Forests were heavily regulated, and live trees were sacred property of the Lord. Peasants relied on fallen branches or sneaked in timber, often hauling massive logs through muddy, wild terrain, dodging wolves and bandits. Their only tools were axes passed down through generations and raw muscle power. Cutting wood in winter when sap was low was a tactical choice to prevent shrinkage and warping. Imagine dragging 50-pound logs through miles of mud. Exhausting, but essential. Real story. One historical record tells of a peasant in 13th century England who lost a hand for stealing timber, a stark reminder of the risks involved. Building the wooden skeleton was a village affair. Peasants dug deep post holes, set beams on stones for drainage, and carefully fitted timber using mortise and tenon joints. Wooden puzzles locked tight without nails. Raising heavy beams required teamwork and trust. A single misstep could cause injury or disaster. No one worked alone here. Helping neighbors meant support when your own home needed repair. A social contract embedded in survival. This community spirit contrasts sharply with today's individualistic housing market. There's a lesson in how cooperation made survival possible. To fill the skeleton, peasants wove sticks, wattle, and plastered them with daub, a sticky, smelly mix of clay, sand, straw, and yes, animal dung. This concoction insulated well and hardened into surprisingly durable walls. Children often joined the messy mixing, turning labor into play. Once dry, walls were sometimes whitewashed with lime to protect and brighten interiors. Insight, the phrase, "knowing your crap," takes on literal meaning here. Medieval builders were early chemists, intuitively blending natural materials for resilience. Roofs were thatched with straw or reeds, layered thick to repel rain and insulate cold. The steep pitch let water run off, but fire was always a danger. One spark from the hearth could burn entire villages down, leading some towns to ban thatch altogether. Still, these roofs could last decades, and old thatch was recycled for animal bedding, a zero-waste mindset centuries ahead of its time. Real example. Archaeological digs show charred timbers in 1 of every 5 medieval houses. Fire was a constant threat. Floors were hardened earth, sometimes mixed with shells or lime. Furniture was minimal, benches doubling as beds, simple tables, and storage made from baskets or wall pegs. Families, often with their livestock, shared cramped spaces with little privacy. The hearth sat in the center, the only heat and light source, filling rooms with smoke, but also life. Personal reflection. Living with smoke-filled rooms and animals as roommates is a far cry from modern comforts. Yet these homes sheltered countless generations. Medieval homes weren't set and forget. Weather cracked walls, thatch needed replacing every 15 to 25 years, and pests damaged structures. Repairs were continuous, with wisdom passed down verbally. No manuals, just hands-on experience. Some homes were rebuilt entirely on the same footprint every few decades. Final takeaway: building a medieval home was a cycle of creation, maintenance, and renewal, a reflection of life itself. Medieval peasants remind us that home is more than walls and roofs. It's community, resilience, and adaptability. In an era dominated by consumerism and convenience, their legacy teaches the value of hard work, cooperation, and using what nature provides. Maybe, in building our modern lives, we could borrow a little of their spirit.